Colombians, they're the best. They're great at sneaking into soccer stadiums. They're great at making coffee. And they are especially great at manufacturing cocaine. In fact, Colombians are so great at manufacturing cocaine, it's been a cash crop for many Colombian towns, especially rural areas of Colombia, up until 2 years ago, Wes, when the cocaine demand suddenly dried up. They literally have no money, no food, no nothing. They're saying they don't eat meat anymore. They're just...
You don't need food when you got a lot of cocaine, though.
No, but it's led to a humanitarian crisis, Wes, because they have children, they have stuff, they need
kids,
food.
Yeah. I'm looking at flights to Colombia. They're pretty cheap.
Oh, yeah! Good morning and welcome to episode 1503 of Hard Factor. It is Tuesday, July 16th, 2024. Thank you for cheating on the news with us. 80-ish% accuracy guaranteed on this podcast. Patreon.com/hardfactor. If you need more, up to 3 weekly bonus pods and Discord chat access, get at us in the server. Patreon.com/hardfactor. Today, we have JD Vance, raw dogging, Diablo 3 dildos, classified docs, and Colombian cocaine. Is it one story or is it multiple? You'll find out.
Could just be one story.
I try to do like a Mad Lib thing with the title there. You know, JD Vance and raw dogging, Diablo 3.
Mad Libs is dead, right? Because Mad Libs, the age you are when you got Mad Libs was now the age you get a phone.
JD Vance, huge Mad Libs guy.
Yeah, huge Mad
I would
Libs
think
guy.
big Mad Libs, not into Diablo 3 dildos, probably.
I loved Mad Libs.
I mean, you don't know comedy unless you've written "but" into every blank line on a Mad Libs page.
Yeah, but
the furry table. Tables aren't furry. It's crazy.
It's the best.
Yeah,
it's the best.
Cock and penis. And
I mean, it's just,
whoa, cock's
yourself
pretty
up.
advanced for Mad Libs. I mean, I think you test out of Mad Libs if you're throwing cock.
Oh,
in
you
there.
13?
like
Mad Libs?
Yeah, I was older than you guys with my Mad Libs.
Wes he's on remedial Mad Libs.
Yeah.
I would maybe write DI and then not put the CK in there because that was too bad a word if my mom found the Mad Libs.
We ate dinner at the cunt.
Yeah, it's a great one.
It's a great restaurant. It's new. Chef's good.
That's not a restaurant. Mad Libs.
Anyway.
Maybe we should have an episode where we just do Mad Libs the whole time.
Yeah. We take like a story, we write most of it, and then we just leave a few words blank, and then we send it to the other guy, and the other guy has to read it.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Love Mad Libs.
Yeah. Mad Libs episode.
I think you can still get them. Yeah. It's probably online.
Patreon.com/hardfactor. If we ever do a Mad Libs, it'll be on there.
I feel like you can probably get them at like a Cracker Barrel.
Not Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
No, it's too edgy for Cracker
You
Barrel.
think it's too edgy for Cracker Barrel?
Big time. Wes is writing cunt in the blank line.
Yeah. They sell Bibles at Cracker Barrel.
I don't know. I feel like Mad Libs is very, very wholesome Christian fun, but for the most part,
it should be, but it generally isn't.
Yeah, depends who gets a hold of it. Yeah.
That's right. Well, you guys want to kick off the news? Do it.
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I'm not going to get into too much about the assassination attempt on former President Trump. We covered it yesterday. We'll probably get into another bigger recap once more details come out. But this headline is just too good to ignore. In a hilarious twist of fate, Donald Trump is claiming that illegal immigration saved his life on January 13th at the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Okay.
Listen.
Pretty ironic, isn't it? According to the Newsweek article by Dan Gooding, quote, Donald Trump reportedly told his former White House doctor that the immigration chart he turned to at the rally in Pennsylvania on Saturday was the reason he survived his assassination attempt. Here's the picture.
You can even hear it in all the clips. He's like, you want to see something else horrible? You want to see this? And then
his final words were almost crazy. I'll play that clip for you.
It's a chart that's not based in fact exactly.
Yeah. But here he is pointing to the chart, which is titled
huge
look at how many
this chart.
Look at how many illegal immigration.
See, what we did is we took the truth and then we bent it.
You've never seen a line this big on this chart. Look at this.
So the chart included data going back to 2012 during Barack's term, showing a peak of illegal immigration crossing in 2023. The subheading was Biden world record illegal immigrants, and many from prisons and mental institutions, also terrorists. That was on the chart. So
he said it started when Obama himself came in. There he is. He's
yeah. Did you guys get my bean joke? I don't know if you.
I heard your bean joke.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay.
So he's saying he turned his head, and there's like the images on like where the bullet would have gone.
Yeah, okay, so here's the video of the moment. And
a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
The line's right there.
So his final words were, if you really want to see something sad, take a look at what happens. Boom. And that could have been his final word, which would have been crazy.
So the immigrant chart saved his life because he turned to look at it.
That's right. Illegal immigration saved his life.
That's crazy.
He cocks his head. You can see to the right, which is the same ear that he was shot on was the right. And because he cocks his head to the right, because that was the ear, the guy was only going to hit the back corner of his head.
Yeah.
So because he moved his head, the back corner of his head was clear from the bullet. Now, sadly, it did hit the man behind him. All right.
Yeah.
He owes his life to illegal immigrants.
That's right. Absolutely. So the quote is, he goes, "The Border Patrol saved my life." This is Dr. Jackson. His former doctor told the New York Times of the call he had with Trump. He said, "I was going over that Border Patrol chart." He said, "If I hadn't pointed at that chart and turned my head to look at it, that bullet would have hit me right in the head." You know, God, right, if all those illegals hadn't crossed in droves, then that chart never would have existed.
There's no way he's turned to an embarrassing chart. It was the fact that so many crossed.
That's right.
Or
wouldn't have existed.
Is Joe Biden technically his savior now? Because Biden's border policies created the chart with the incredibly huge lines that he needed to point out to everybody. So ipso facto, the enemy is my friend. The enemy of the bullet in this case being Joe Biden's chart that he created. Okay, I mean, maybe Biden's the hero now.
I think it's all those fertile South Americans and Central Americans.
Man, they're so fertile.
They're so fertile.
Ooh. Coming up third, we're talking about one of the reasons why some of the Colombians are coming up here. Not great, I'll tell you. But it could be a good business opportunity for us. We'll get into it.
Okay. Yeah. So, he credited the Border Patrol. But again, Border Patrol wouldn't even exist if there weren't so many illegal aliens trying to get in here, immigrants. And,
what a twist of fate.
I mean, isn't it ironic? It's incredible. It's the most incredible thing.
Best. It's so cool because literally there was meme accounts making fun of Trump being like, look at this, the illegal immigration saved Trump's life, LOL, and there's so many of those memes firing off. And then you hear that Trump was actually saying the same thing to the doctors.
Yeah. No, he acknowledges it. It's like my dad bitches about government handouts, but then he was renting his townhouse to a woman who was paying for it with government subsidies. And guess what? My dad loved how on time he loved how on time those payments were from the government directly into his account.
First of the month, buddy.
The irony is just great with these old Republicans. So all you bigots out there who hate immigrants, you know who you are. Some of you might be Trump supporters. Just remember, illegal immigrants basically saved Trump's life. Those are his words, not mine.
This shows how all Americans help each other in the end. Besides that one piece of shit lunatic shooter, that's the one who doesn't help anybody. Then everybody else is helping everybody. In the end, it just may not seem like it in the moment. In the end, we help each other.
That's right.
God has a sense of humor. I mean, and this proves it. You know what I mean? Real quick, we covered the raw dogging phenomenon a few weeks ago, where guys are just basically doing what's called raw dogging and staring at screens in front of them. No water, no sleep, no bathroom breaks, no snacks. And now that because it's gotten so huge, probably thanks to our video, the doctors are coming out and saying that this is very bad for you. Okay, so there's a little PSA. If you're going to raw dog,
I had some questions for you based on my raw dogging drive I just did. So let's get
for your mental health.
Basically when you're at that high in the sky and you don't drink water, you can get headaches, you can get dehydrated, dizziness, fatigue. They say with low oxygen pressure on flights and a change in humidity levels, an increased amount of water evaporates from our skin and lungs when flying. So it becomes very important that you don't raw dog and that you stay hydrated. Also, abstaining from snacking can cause fatigue and tiredness. So
junk science, Wes. The whole point of raw dogging and bear packing is to completely become a better version of yourself, and you can overcome overcome dehydration.
You're supposed to
with
power
your mental
through all this
toughness.
stuff. Right.
Yeah.
It's true. Everyone knows that.
You're alphaing the ride.
Your junk science.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you're going to raw dog, you don't want to listen to this, but if you're an amateur raw dog,
you're certainly not reading it on your cell phone. You're not reading.
Dehydration is the first thing that magicians learn to overcome in magician school.
Yeah.
To go without
ask
water.
a magician. Yeah, about it. Ask a doctor about a magician. What do they have to say about that?
David Blaine
do they hate magic.
David Blaine can go a calendar year without water.
Yeah. And
Look,
sometimes
you gotta. He gets real grumpy. He gets real cranky without it, but he can do it.
Remember when he said he held his breath for like 2 hours? You're like, you okay underwater?
Yeah. I remember. I remember when I believed him when he said
I
that.
think he can do about like 5-6 minutes.
Oh yeah, he totally did it. He totally was underwater for.
He trained for months, Mark.
Yeah,
that's what happened. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of making your flight more enjoyable, Lucy. We all know you can't do what you sometimes may want to do on flights, which is toke up, but you can pop a 100% pure nicotine, always tobacco-free Lucy in your mouth and raw dog the shit out of that flight. Available in pouches, gum, and our favorites. I like mango. These are the espresso. These are what I'm on right now. Tastes exactly like espresso. These are the breakers, yes. Breakers are pouches with a capsule of liquid-filled flavor inside that you just break it, and then you're just overwhelmed with delicious flavor. You can get them in 4 milligram or 8 milligram. I think 12s too, or those the regular.
Lucy's are so
not the breakers.
Your Mark.
Yeah.
And me.
If you put if you put 2 in at the same time, that's 24.
That's 24.
Which we don't recommend.
Hey, Lucy's
that is math.
Lucy's are so satisfying. I do not think it could be considered raw dogging. I mean, that's flying in luxury comfort.
It's true. You really are relaxed and having a great time no matter what you're doing with Lucy. So if you're not a pouch guy or gal, gum is available in 2 milligrams or 4 milligrams or 6 milligrams. So set yourself up with a subscription, have Lucy delivered straight to your door. No more weekly or daily gas station trips. Again, I like the mango is my personal new favorite. I use the 8s. It's the sweet spot for me when I can't partake in other forms of nicotine that I enjoy, like if I'm at a wedding or on an airplane. So let's level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/hardfactor and use promo code hardfactor. Get 20% off your first order. Lucy offers free shipping and has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. That's lucy.co and use code hardfactor to get 20% off and always free shipping. And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
You know, a funny observation I made recently, and this has nothing to do with Lucy, which is an incredible product. It's more to do with human beings being disgusting pieces of shit. Do you remember like back in the 90s when everyone could smoke cigarettes, like any like public rest stop you'd go to would have like 2 to 4 cigarette butts in the urinals?
Well, I remember when my parents used to smoke in restaurants. It was
But like I'm talking about urinals specifically. Like you go pee.
Oh, sure. Urinals.
Go to light up when you're peeing.
Yeah.
The ashtray right there, right next to the bench right now.
It makes a little bit of sense because maybe you were smoking before you went in there and you don't want to burn your fingers. So you like it's fire. So you have to throw it in but now that's been replaced with like Lucy's and things. Every public urinal has Lucy, which there's no excuse for that. You can just take it out of your mouth and throw it in the trash can. It's not literally on fire. People just do it because they're like, let me just throw it. And now everyone's
why, Mark? You know why? It's because they use an inferior product that doesn't have the burn area inside.
Sure, it could be a competitor.
Lucy's have an area.
What I'm saying is, why are people taking these things out of their mouth and throwing them in the urinal when there's public trash cans in there?
I don't know about you, but I'm
inferior product.
I'm itching to get my fingers in my mouth when I'm using a public bathroom at a truck stop. Get them in there. Can't get them in there fast enough.
I need to pee on something. 17
minutes. David Blaine lied about holding his breath. Remember his ears were out of the water. Like he was fucking bullshit. 17 minutes.
All right, guys. I want you to meet the new potential vice president of the United States, Trump's running mate, which is announced. on Monday, J.D. Vance. Before we do, real quick, the strongest of the 3 criminal cases against Donald Trump. Is it 4 or 3? There's a lot of them. Strongest one, the classified documents case, got tossed out by Judge Aileen Cannon on the whole thing's been technicalities, but essentially saying that Jack Smith, the special counsel, was appointed.
It's a political hit job.
Only a special counsel could be appointed by Congress. Anyway, that's
Baldwin style, another like immediate mistrial.
Well,
like,
look,
judges don't want to do their jobs.
I don't want to get too deep into it, but I do want to point one thing out that I've researched that hasn't been reported on, and there's no smoking gun on it, but Aileen Cannon, the judge in that case, who was appointed by Trump, her husband, Josh Lawrence, right, started at a company called BurgerFi back in 2013. BurgerFi is owned by a mobster named John Rosati, who's been tight with Donald Trump since the 1970s. They did Trump limos together. John Rosati and John Stilpini, his buddy, are still hanging out at Mar-a-Lago. They were Colombo crime family soldiers. Conflict of interest. And we look into it. It's fun.
Well, that's why you have these kind of relationships, Pat, to get these kind of favors. I mean, what's the point of having these relationships?
I've dealt with communicating with a few CEOs of limo companies, and boy, are those guys shady.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, point being, Cannon's husband is tight with a mobster.
Yeah,
who has been tight with Trump since the 70s, and then she randomly got appointed. But just saying, every legal scholar in America is saying, what's this lady doing? And today she threw the case out, which is not going to stand. But it's months and months.
Every scholar agrees. Every scholar.
In this case, it is true.
Every single legal scholar has reviewed it. It said 93 pages.
Oh, I mean,
every legal scholar.
I know it was funny when Trump said, but it is. I swear,
Pat. This is the guy that wants to get rid of porn.
Every legal scholar.
JD Vance, the guy that wants to get rid of porn. Finally, a politician in a high office who looks like kind of like us, but that's makeup he's wearing big time.
He looks like
he wears a lot of makeup.
That looks like a gay version of us,
exactly. Right? Because he looks like us, except but he's us that wears a ton of makeup. Yeah,
like
he's big. Yeah. He's bearded. He was born in 1984. Mark. Look at that. Same year as Mark. He's our age.
He's a month older than me and vice president now.
There you go. Yep. So
makes
Trump
me feel like shit.
One step closer.
JD Vance was going to be the president.
Whatever.
The vice president. So let's meet JD Vance. Let's meet him. Okay. Mm-hmm. Who is he? What do we know about him? Well, he's a one-term senator. Yes, wrote a book. That's probably how we best know him. Is the book Hillbilly Elegy.
The Ron Howard flick.
Film and directed by Ron Howard, produced by Brian Grazer over there at Imagine Entertainment. It was a New York Times bestseller. I think it was 2016 it was published.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially it's his memoir. It's Vance's memoir about growing up with a meemaw and a peepaw in Appalachian, Ohio, as an Appalachian person growing up poor.
And his meemaw and peepaw were absolutely flinging cigarette butts in urinals and stalls. If you watch
lots of cig butts in that book. Yeah. Also, the movie
their own toilets.
I mean, I felt like the whole thing was overrated. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought
the acting in that movie.
Elegy craze was.
I thought it was way overrated too.
Well,
way overrated.
Right? I mean, the famous actress.
Why is everyone going nuts about this okay movie?
Glenn Close.
Oscar-worthy performance in Hillbilly Elegy.
Sure,
but incredible.
Will is all right.
Great point, Will. It's really hard to adapt a book, and Ron Howard's late in his career. The book, when it came out, was the same year Trump got elected to office, and people were trying to figure out how did that happen, and that's partly why the book was so successful, because it was a look into Appalachian life, country life, middle of America life, which is how Vance had kind of touted it. So it was the book every liberal was reading to try to figure out what happened, right? And apparently, I didn't read the book. I saw the movie. It was okay. But it's his memoir.
Well,
it's about his life.
When that book came out, he was doing a tour, and that's when he became besties with Don Trump Jr., who loved the book.
DTJ, Don Trump Jr. So what else did Vance do? Let's go back before Hillbilly Elegy. Okay, he's from Middletown, Ohio. He's a Marine Corps veteran. He enlisted after he graduated the same year we did. Mark and Will. Jeez. Okay. And he became
class of 03. Way to go, Vance.
We're vice presidents of Hard Factor.
God damn it. And then
you're actually managing members, Mark. That's a
we're presidents.
He joined the Marines.
He's got some work to do.
Served as a combat correspondent in the Iraq War. So military journalist. He's a writer. Right, he wrote that book. Then He went to law school after he graduated from Ohio State with a poli-sci and philosophy degree. He went to law school at Yale. Ever heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he talks about that a lot in the book. Good Lord,
Big time.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, look, he's
the whole movie. He's got like Yale hats and shirts, and everyone's like,
Yale
"What are you doing here, Yale
First
boy?"
person from his town.
yeah. Well, where does Yale lead you? It
Was
leads
it
you to the
West?
coast.
No way.
Where you become a coastal elite. And that's just what he did, guys. After graduating from Yale, he worked for Sidney Austin LLP as a lawyer, made a ton of dough. He had heard Peter Thiel, PayPal founder, speak in college, loved Thiel. So he moved over to San Francisco to be a venture capitalist at Thiel's firm, Mithril Capital.
Yeah.
So he's
2016,
just like
2017.
he may have grown up in the country, but now he's like a full-on East
If your
Coast
Wikipedia
money
says goes to be venture capitalist, then yeah.
guy. Right.
He got
exactly.
linked up with Peter Thiel and DTJ, and he not only worked for that Mithril thing, but he started his own company. And all of Peter Thiel's venture capitalist places are named after like elven rings from Lord of the Rings. Like his was called like Palantir. They're just such fucking nerdy
nerdy finance whizzes. Yeah.
Listen, I know what's,
Nerdy Excel sheet jockeys.
I know what's coming down the line, but so far I'm very impressed.
Okay. So and look,
Wait,
Don't-
blowing your socks off.
don't worry. Don't worry about what this might mean as it relates to our corrupt Supreme Court. Okay, because there's no connection. It's not like J.D. Vance's wife clerked for John Roberts and also Brett Kavanaugh at one point. Usha Chilukuri, got to get that right. Well, you're not on Hard Factor, but someone's got to get that right. She's Usha Vance now.
She
They met it.
clearly caught him watching way too much porn. That was the
Big
start
time.
that was the start of his being like, yeah, porn's bad. Porn's bad.
Right. Anyway,
Yeah.
he was elected to the Senate in 2022, sworn in 2023. So he's like one term.
Well,
One-term
Pat,
guy.
to that judicial thing, in 2023, he blocked all federal appointees by Biden to the courts because he was pissed about the Trump trials. So he's
Well, he wasn't always pissed
he
about
also-
the Trump
he's
trials.
like-
He is a Republican.
If he
Well-
takes, yeah, they're good at blocking those nominations. So if he then does
Peter
become
Thiel
vice
paid for his-
president-
Peter Thiel
that
gave him
means-
$10 million to go to
his,
be elected.
his campaign budget.
Basically, he's Peter Thiel's talking piece.
right. So he's Peter Thiel's part of the ticket now.
Basically,
and
Peter
so-
Thiel's the vice president. Yeah.
So Peter Thiel's got his little JD Vance puppet there in the VP slot. Good for Peter Thiel. And if JD Vance does become the vice president, then he gives up his seat, which has 2 years left on it. So
Right.
Ohio.
I'm pretty sure this was a smart move by Trump because I think why he picked JD Vance is because now no wacko is going to shoot Trump because they don't want JD Vance to be president. This was like security for no one to
240
shoot-
with makeup on and
Yeah.
a beard? No.
No one's going to shoot Trump anymore now that Vance is his
Punch him.
So a couple things. Let's talk about
Looks
why
like a
Trump selected him.
cherub grew a beard, like one of
Let's talk
those
about-
like angel statues.
Yeah,
He does.
Yeah.
That's so
He's
much
got,
makeup
like a
he's wearing.
bear beard. And
So let's talk about why Trump selected him. A lot of people were saying Trump wouldn't select him because he's ambitious, right? And Trump doesn't like an ambitious guy around. They don't want a guy who wants to be president around. He wants a lackey, a fuck boy who he can fuck like Mike Pence. But Vance is, he wants it bad. And
he's
Vance
tight with
was
his
a
son. I think that's
Yes,
the
he's
biggest
best
thing.
friends with him. Yeah.
Vance was a never Trumper, okay, in 2016. And here's what concerns me the most
Until
about Vance.
I became boys with DTJ. He
A
changed
lot of
my
people
mind.
say that he is by default liberal, and he was a never Trumper Republican, talking a lot of shit about Trump. And we're going to get into a clip of him recounting or recanting his statements that were leaked in a text message to his roommate back in 2016. But he even went on to write for The Atlantic, a guest opinion piece, because he's a writer, where he called Trump
Smart guy.
cultural heroin.
I saw Mima and Papa
sure.
Mima and Papa, who raised him, the grandparents were like hardcore
Democrats.
Democrats that were for unions, like the union specifically, liberal
Which
union.
is common in like
And-
the
and
South
he- yeah.
or the country.
And
middle
he's
of
like the
America.
most anti-union guy currently in America.
Well,
Yes,
also,
he didn't agree with Mimon and Papa. So
Well, they were idiots.
they were
Vance-
fucking morons if you
Yeah.
watched the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, and they couldn't get off drugs. No, it was his parents who were
It was his
drugged out.
parents. Yeah.
Vance, who talked a bunch of shit about Donald Trump, like repeatedly, and kind of felt how a lot of Americans felt about how he's, dangerous and all that shit. Once things got going in his, being a part of the Republican Party, he started backtracking. Okay, and Trump said in April of 2022, JD is kissing my ass hard. He wants my support so bad. But let's get into why people are,
Awesome.
I don't know, and me personally are a little bit concerned about the man's resolve or backbone. This is Brett Baer, who's on Fox News, talking to JD Vance because he was in the mix. He's 1 of 4 for the VP, talking to JD about the comments he made that came out and JD's response to it.
Said, I'm a never Trump guy. Never liked him. Terrible candidate. Idiot if you voted for him. Might be America's Hitler. Might be a cynical a-hole. Cultural heroine.
Dumbass. Ugly. Might be the fattest president since Taft. Vain. Xenophobic. You said he was incontinent. Self-absorbed. Rapey. Cheap. Smells bad. And at least a 60 handicap. You went on saying that he can't spell. Eats like an 8-year-old. Has bad breath. Stiffs his contractors. Has little to no understanding of foreign policy and the attention span of a gnat. And that he waddles like a duck.
Those are things that the left is going to come after you, and they're probably going to be put in ads should you be chosen as the VP pick. How do you deal with them now?
Oh man, the back end didn't go. Fuck. Well, essentially, he says, "Look, I was wrong about Trump. I thought he was a terrible president. Turns out he's one of our greatest presidents." That's what he said. And
What he should say is, "That's politics, baby. I'm not a
That is
politician. I'm not a
That is
politician, and I flip
Kamala said that Biden should be disqualified because of his age before she ended up being his vice president. This is what happens.
True politician. Yeah.
If you're a Republican and you haven't talked shit about Trump, that means you're like one of 20% of the population that is just like devoted to Trump. Most Republicans have talked a lot of shit about Trump. So there's not.
Vance got in on it early, and then he did like the opposite of a lot of the Republicans because Vance got in early, 2016ish, and like while he was like during his first term and he was talking shit, a lot of the people flipped on him at the end, right? Like, and then he did the opposite. He like around 2020 at the end of his first term, he was like, I love him. So he did like he was early on it, and then he flopped like around 2020.
Well, because he knew as you said, Mark, he's a politician. He knew that Trump was going to be coming back in 4 years, and he wanted to get on that train. He got on it. He's obviously all the way on it now. He's the fucking VP. 39-year-old,
as the VP for the guy who's way out in the lead according to polls and the gambling to Vegas. So
yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't
pretty
hurt.
good for him.
When you survive an attempted assassination, it's
bad for OnlyFans people and probably people that
run.
Yeah, bad for OnlyFans people.
Yeah, well, JD's not going to get his way on anything. I think you're right too, Mark. Like, it's also a thing. Like, nobody wants this fucking giant gay bear-looking Republican from Ohio to be president. So everybody's going to take the heat off Trump.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nobody's going to want to come after him when they have JD Vance. Like,
Trump doesn't even need a detail. He doesn't even need a detail anymore. They don't need Secret Service with Vance around.
He's a pretty deft politician.
He's got a big frame. He can maybe put on a little weight. Yeah.
I mean, Trump slaughtered Biden in Ohio in 2020.
He's going to win Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, I know, but it's just weird that I thought he would have picked someone from a swing state.
Well, none of the other
people are saying it's weird.
Yeah,
the only swing state potential was Rubio
and Youngkin. Yeah,
Youngkin, but Virginia's not a swing state. Youngkin's fucked up there. Biden's winning Virginia.
Yeah.
Youngkin's so unpopular. He's sinking like the Hindenburg. To get it, Youngkin was a bad. I mean, get out of here with the Youngkin. In my opinion, I think that Trump smells the negativity surrounding Youngkin, and he's going to stay away. I think that's smart. Like, he also
said
not
that
done well as Virginia's governor.
He wanted Vance because he wants someone who's young and could possibly continue the MAGA trend in the White House. So that's what the news.
I don't think Vance is principled there, although he is
AKA
buying in. So
my
we'll
son's
see.
friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his son's friend as well. Like that, DTJ and him are going to be like figureheading for a while. Yeah,
Right. Oh, imagine the task forces those two are going to do.
Yeah. Imagine the amount of porn and strippers they're going to do, even though he says he hates porn. Yeah.
He did.
We need to try to get our Lucy deal with them somehow, and get them to promote.
Oh, right. He's anti-porn, and he suggested that the Biden administration is allowing fentanyl to come over the southern border to kill Republican voters. So if you want to kill a bunch of MAGA voters in the middle of the heartland,
you love cocaine.
How better to target them and their kids with fentanyl.
And fentanyl.
I feel like a lot of people love cocaine.
Everybody loves cocaine, Mark.
Yeah.
Everybody. You know what? That's a great segue to our next story, which is about Colombian cocaine. Fancy that. Check this out, though, real quick from the live comments. Lots of good ones today. Safari Francis says, love Hard Factor. We love you, Safari. Mario says, GFD boys. HAGFD to you, Mario. And then there was one back here from Leonard Shields, who says, did Lane ever fly that Hard Factor flag?
No, because we never sent it to
We didn't send it to him.
Didn't send it. So that was a great.
So hard. And yeah.
That was a great dig at us, Leonard, because we probably won't do the Mad Libs episode either. That's around the time he put that comment in.
He's Lane's buddy, and he knew we didn't send it.
Yeah, he just spurned us.
He gave us that comment there. Yeah.
He knew it was just like the flag.
There'll be lots of other hurricanes. Don't worry.
Yeah. We got plenty of time, Leonard. We're on it. Okay, now back to Colombian cocaine. Colombians, they're the best. They really are. They're great at making coffee. You know, Colombian coffee, some of the best. Some of the absolute best. The flavor I prefer the most. Maybe Italian too, but Colombian, great. They're great at sneaking into soccer stadiums.
Oh,
check out
you got it.
Let's Go Pod. Yeah.
No, check it out right here.
Hard Factor. Oh, Mark's got the video right there. You
Look
see
at
them?
them. This is at the Copa Finals. They not only
Copa
broke
America?
down the stadium gates, but they snuck in the ventilation system.
They
of the
stuck
stadium.
into the HVAC. Yeah.
Oh, that's dangerous as shit.
They popped the HVAC straight out of the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami.
See the game.
And they snuck straight into that motherfucker. Right? That's the Colombians. That's the kind of resolve you're talking about with the Colombians. Okay.
Yeah.
And they are especially great. Colombians are at manufacturing cocaine in large quantities. In fact, Colombians are so great at manufacturing cocaine. It's been a cash crop for many Colombian towns, especially rural areas of Colombia, like Cano Cabra, which is the picture I'm showing you guys here. This is some workers in Cano Cabra just moving, kilos and kilos of coca leaves and the paste, which, they grind up the coca leaves, mix it with gasoline and other chemicals to make
for
paste,
$5 an hour.
Yeah,
even though it's worth $1 trillion.
Well, you don't see the men holding guns to their bodies, but
no, I mean, these are just farmers. They're out in the fields, bro.
Yeah, they get a fair shake. Yeah.
They're farmers. They're out in the fields. They don't get paid too much, like Mark's saying, but they need that money from the drug dealers who buy the cocaine to live, right?
Like a bullet farmer. It doesn't know that it's going to be in a gun eventually. It just thinks it's sending bullets.
Yeah.
Well, they chew on coca leaves all day, like locally. It's not a big deal there. Anyways, maybe the laws here.
These guys are innocent farmers, Pat.
That's right.
The way that
I agree.
Made, maybe it makes it destructive for other places. Over in Cano Cabra, they don't see the issue. Okay. And everybody was buying their cocaine in this town for decades.
They don't see another way either.
Yeah. Up until 2 years ago, Wes, when the cocaine demand suddenly dried up, and the FARC, which is what Escobar used to use to mobilize, get all the cocaine nationally, and then sell it, from that front, the FARC stopped collecting, cocaine nationally and bundling it up to everybody to sell it to the cartels, and so the cartels stopped buying the coke from inland Colombian towns like Cano Cabra in the last 2 years. And the town of Cano Cabra has gone from 200 residents down to 40. And it's happening to small farming villages all over Colombia in the inland where cartels can't buy directly from them. There's no more FARC doing the national collection. So they're fucked. They literally have no money, no food, no nothing. They're saying they don't eat meat anymore. They're fucked. It's like basically the drop of cocaine.
All we've got is this cocaine.
Right. They've got more cocaine than they can shake a stick at. They got no money to buy that cocaine.
Yeah.
You don't need food when you got a lot of cocaine, though.
It's true.
Yeah. No, but it's led to a humanitarian crisis, Wes, because they have children, they have stuff, they need
kids,
food. And so their entire rural population in Colombia has relied on cocaine money to live for decades. And with with the changes, the FARC not being able to get to the smaller towns, Ecuador and Peru, meanwhile, have ramped up cocaine production at easier ports to get to for the cartels to fill the void. So Colombia is completely fucked. This new president, he's allowing everybody to grow coca leaves, and new fertilization techniques means that anybody can make coca now. So they have more coca leaves, more coca plants, better looking fields than they've ever had in Colombia. They can make more than ever. They can make more cocaine than ever, but they have nobody to sell it to. And now all their farmers are starving.
I'm looking at flights to Colombia. They're pretty cheap. Couldn't you just get a bunch of frat guys to fly over there and just do
make a dent?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Now's the time. If you ever wanted to do some cocaine usage that can actually help a community. Yeah. Now is the time to make your way to inland Colombia.
Finish your cocaine, mijo.
Yeah. Because they need to sell it. If you got something that they could buy some food with, they would gladly trade.
Wes, and what was the scenario with that?
Finish up your cocaine, mijo.
I love it. But where is it happening?
They're feeding their kids cocaine for breakfast.
Right.
That's
all I got. That's all I got.
Yeah. All of your cocaine, mijo.
I like that.
So you have to get in there and help. It's a humanitarian crisis. We can't have that going on.
Bachelor parties to the center of Colombia.
Yeah. So anyways, everybody, Colombia made it to the finals of the Copa America. They snuck into the stadium. They're doing just fine, but they need some of that Coke money again because the farmers are starving. Okay.
Yeah, Argentina beat them, and I do have a follow-up. Not only did they sneak into the stadium, again, there's another video of them just breaking down the gates. Eventually, there's some funny videos of a guy running up a spiral stadium staircase, and he's going real slow. Yeah. Tackled by. Eventually, cops came in with guns and went row to row because half the people in the stadium should have been there. And then I found this recently. The Colombian Football Federation president and his son, that's Ramon Jamil Giseron, were arrested at the Hard Rock for beating up several security guards.
Yep. And the Colombian fans fought the Uruguayan team in the semifinals because they were talking so much shit to the Uruguayans on the field that the Uruguayans stormed the stands after the game to attack the Colombian fans. So it's a good cause to support. Is all I'm saying.
Colombia's on one. They were they were harassing the Uruguayan players' family members in the stands.
They have passion. They have look.
They did lose to Argentina, who's on a heater, World Cup and Copas. But that was a security snafu. Get it together, U.S. You're hosting the World Cup in 2 years. Another security snafu. There's been a lot this week, right? The Trump thing. We talked about. Yeah, some security.
The assassination on the former president.
A few. This thing at the Hard Rock. And then Vancouver resident Lucia, she was traveling. And where was she traveling to? She was at an airport and she had something in her bag, and security did not know what it was because I guess the security there wasn't a bunch of nerds. She had Diablo 3's Soul Stone power bank, which I don't know why you would buy this or what is the purpose of this.
That's a dildo, right? Or a butt plug? That's
what the NSA people thought, Will, because they were like, surely it's not some weird video game collectible that a 40-year-old woman has. It's got to be a giant dildo. So they pulled her to the side and shook her down and embarrassed her in public. And they were like, what's this giant dildo? And she's like, it's the Soul Stone power bank.
No way. It's an actual nerdy.
Like, we didn't ask for the name of the dildo, weirdo.
It's a nerdy Diablo like knick-knack.
To charge your phone. I got the description up here. It's for ages 14 plus. Yeah, not only is the power bank useful, it's sure to attract some attention wherever it's used. Simply press a button and illuminate the translucent Soul Stone. Highlight this awesome replica in your office or anywhere you go.
It's a BlizzCon
or stick it up your vagina.
She got it at BlizzCon.
It's dildo called the Rocky Road.
Yeah.
Or the Rocky Show. That would have been better. Damn.
She went viral because they just pulled her aside. At first, they asked her if she had a knife, and she goes, of course I don't. They're like, well, the only reason we ask you that is because we know you have a giant dildo. And
right.
She's like, no!
Huge dildo.
How big is it?
It's big. It's
They were shocked.
They were.
They're like, geez, lady.
It's a 6.77 inches tall.
They asked if she needed a wheelchair. And then I don't even know why you would get stopped for a dildo. Is that something that you're supposed to get? Is that something you're supposed to get publicly shamed for if you have it?
You're not supposed to. I don't think you're supposed to have them. Maybe with the batteries plugged in. I don't know what the rules are. They're just stopping anybody that has a weird shaped electronic like that. But that's
looks like the tip of a devil's finger.
Yeah, that's the whole point, Pat. It's Diablo. So it's like,
I mean, it's kind of pointy. You could take someone out with that for sure.
Yeah. They thought it was a knife. They thought it was a dildo.
How heavy is it, Pat? What's the weight?
Oh, it's not heavy at all, bro.
Fully charged, or
it's 0.6 pounds.
Oh, it's nothing.
Pound.
Yeah, it's nothing. Cheap materials. The BlizzCon exclusive. Security people at the airport suggest if you have giant dildos or soul stones, you should put them in your checked bags, not your carry-ons.
For sure. Check the soul stone.
Yeah,
it's valuable.
If it charges your phone, I mean, you kind of might need it, right?
She's gonna break that out at the airport and have a light up dildo just sitting next to her, like like while she's waiting.
It's a BlizzCon exclusive. Will she takes it everywhere?
It's been marked down from $50 to $25 too. It's
a deal.
Well, you should put one behind you and on your desk.
I'll tell you who looks like
we all get these things, guys. We all get dildo phone charge.
But hold on. It can only like sit on your desk. It's not like portable, and obviously it's a hazard to take it with you. So why don't you just use a phone charger?
But Diablo 3 is awesome.
Well, because it's not as cool. Yeah.
Because it's the Soul Stone.
What I do is I take the power from the wall into the Soul Stone and then into my phone.
I'll tell you who probably enjoys a Soul Stone is gay Tolkien fan JD Vance.
Oh yeah, dude, he's got every color of the Soul Stone. That's the only thing he charges his shit with.
He looks like a mashup. You know when they do mashups, like what a celebrity would look like.
Yeah, like a female celebrity in him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a mashup, a baby.
That's Farrah Fawcett and JD Vance.
Yeah, you like Goldie Hawn and John Candy. Yeah.
It's Kate Hudson and JD Vance. Anyway, security's having some issues this week, so that's the show. Be careful out there. We love you, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.